the fire drill, so we just gotta be smart on time.
My name is Stearns Matthews. I'm your Director of Music Ministries. My pronouns are he, him, and we're so happy you're here. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 83, Winds Be Still.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Society of Germantown. My name is Sarah Hertz, and my pronouns are she and her. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation seeking to support one another as we grow our souls and affirm that another world is possible. We celebrate the gift of life each week here at Sunday service, and we are so honored that you have chosen to join us this morning. No matter your gender, your race, your sexual orientation, your class, family structure, employment status, or your health, know that you are welcome here just as you are. As Unitarian Universalists, we are diverse in our spiritual beliefs. Some of us are atheists, some are agnostics, some believe in God, but all of us put love, with a capital L, at the center of our lives. All are invited to join us in that common purpose, and for lunch after the service. For our newcomers and visitors, please find your way to the welcome table where a lay leader can help answer your questions or set you up with a name tag. Being able to greet one another by name is really vital for building community. If you came with children today, you can grab a CSD guide from the welcome table. Also, there is a nursery for infants and crawlers at the back of the sanctuary, and just down the hall through this door is the wiggle room for toddlers, staffed and full of toys. Please know that the main way to find out about this community and what we are doing each and every week is to subscribe to our newsletter, The Communicator. Scan the QR code in your order of service to add your name to our distribution list. Read it each week to find out how you can plug in and help out. Announcements for today. Please note that after the benediction, we will be having a fire drill, and it will be loud. Ushers will help us get where we need to go, and there are plenty of folks assigned to help kids get where they're supposed to be. And today, there is a meet and greet with Reverend Hannah after worship concludes. Grab some food first, and then meet her in the Sullivan Chapel.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Hannah Capaldi. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve this congregation as its minister. It's good to be with you on this overcast day. It's sort of started to get cozy around here. Our call to worship today comes from Reverend Sunshine Wolf. We are here on land we did not create and that no one can really own. We are here because generation after generation, people committed to life. We are here, the product of sun and rain and earth. We are here, inheritors of the best and worst of all our ancestors gave us. Here we are, taking responsibility for our world, action by action, word by word. Here we are, the embodiment of responsibility through action and word, of thousands upon thousands of lives we will never know. Here we are, interwoven, a piece of the earth, the sky, the ancestors, and the harbingers of those who will call us ancestor. Here we are, broken and whole, wholly broken and unholy broken. We are here. And here we are permeable pieces connected, grateful for every strand of life, from the core of the earth to the dust at the edge of the universe, to each and every being. May all of our ancestors, from the smallest microbe to the largest ecosystem, live in us and beyond us, and for generations to come. So let us worship together today.
I'd like to ask Bob Williford and Lynn Kalish to come up and light the chalice for us today as we read together in unison. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us mercy, beauty, and joy. Your turn. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy. One more time. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing. Show to us beauty, vision, and joy.
So fun for me today. I get to do the time for all ages. So if you are young in body, maybe also in spirit, come join me at the front for our time for everyone to learn a little bit about gardening. Okay, Ash, let's make some room for friends, or I'd love to see... Yeah, there we go. Come on down, everyone. Hi, friends. Oh, so many of you. Okay, June, will you take this? And then, come here. Will you say into the microphone what it is that you're holding? What are you holding, June?
Holding a pumpkin.
Yeah, a teeny tiny pumpkin. Okay, and here, Arthur, here's one for you. Hold that. Okay. Now, Faye, will you tell everybody into the microphone what you're holding?
Corn.
Yes, some really cool corn. You can feel it and then maybe pass it around to friends. Okay, and then Jamie. Okay, not Jamie. Ash. Geez, someone help me out here. Violet, you want to do it? Bag of beans. It's a bag of beans. You don't have to speak into the microphone, but you want to touch it? Yeah, there you go, sweetie pie. Feels fun. Okay, so in the crowd of little ones here, we have some corn, some beans, and some pumpkins, or squash. So the people who lived here, where we live, before white people got here, the people who were native to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, they were called the Lenni Lenape. And a big part of their life was gardening, growing food. Now these three things, squash and beans and corn, were called the Three Sisters. Have any of you heard of the Three Sisters? Yes, the Three Sisters. So when white Europeans came to America, they thought native people were actually really bad at farming and gardening because, first of all, they didn't grow their gardens in rows. They grew them in mounds. And because they put all their things together. So beans and squash and corn were all planted in 1 square foot, really close together. As opposed to in European style of gardening, it's a little bit more what we call a monoculture. So you do rows and rows of like next to like. So corn all together, beans all together, squash all together. So we call this companion planting. Now the Three Sisters are special because each of these plants offers something to the other so that you can actually grow more food per square foot than you can if you grow them individually. Okay, so first, the corn. Who has the corn? Okay, the corn. Hold it up high for everybody to see. Now, the corn grows fast. It's the first to shoot up really high, and it grows a nice, thick stalk. That stalk allows for the beans. Who's holding my bag of beans? Hold up my bag of beans. There we go. That corn stalk serves as a bean pole. So the corn stands strong, and the bean pole uses as a bean pole, and the bean vine wraps itself around the corn. Then the squash, who's got my pumpkins? Remy, you've got a pumpkin. Arthur, you've got a pumpkin. They stay low to the ground, and their vines spread out, and they keep the soil from drying out. Their leaves are big, and they create shade cover, basically. So they both keep the soil moist from drying out, and they prevent weeds from growing, because they cover it around where all the other roots are. Now, you might be wondering, what is the bean providing here? So far, the bean is getting a lot of protection from the squash and is getting a pole. What the beans do is deep, 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 deep down in the dirt. All living things, but particularly green things, need nitrogen to grow. 78% of all nitrogen in the world is in the atmosphere. It's in the air. And plants can't do anything with it. It's basically like a table of food that they can't access. But legumes, beans, fix the nitrogen. They can take in nitrogen from the air and send it into the soil, where the pumpkins, the squash, and the corn can use it like food to grow bigger and stronger and faster. So this is a really cool partnership. All three of these plants give something to one another and they take from one another. And there's reciprocity, symbiosis. Can everybody say that word? Symbiosis. And I like to think about it a little bit like our community here. Everybody has a unique gift to give us, and in turn, everyone offers of themselves for other people to draw from. And we can make more by being together in our differences than by being a monoculture, which is boring and bad for the soil. So today, when you head to your classes, I want you to think about the three sisters. How many of you have sisters? Do you have three? Does anyone here have three sisters? You're one of three. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. So when we sing our kids off to class, I want you to think about this. The three sisters, how each of us has a unique gift to offer the congregation, and in turn, we flourish when we take from what other people have to offer to us. And with that, we will sing you Go Now in Peace.
Our brains make around 35,000 decisions each day. To keep up, we rely on shortcuts. One of the biggest, either-or thinking. Right or wrong, us or them, conservative or liberal, even chicken, light meat or dark. It helps our brains feel less overwhelmed, but it doesn't always serve our hearts, especially when it comes to love. I want to talk about how this shows up in the way we think about relationships. For many people, especially of my generation, who you're with is seen as a binary choice, a man or a woman. Pick one, stick with it. Anything else? Too confusing. But in my lived experience, love doesn't work that way. Sorry. I didn't expect this at all. Most of the USG community doesn't know that I had what I like to call a starter marriage of 22 years to a man. We lived in the suburbs, 2 kids, dog, soccer games, the whole deal. Then I met Lee, and everything shifted. For some people, that feels binary. You were with a man, now you're with a woman. That helps their brains categorize it. But I don't see it that way. I'm not straight, I'm not gay, I just love Lee. And that love, to me, is black and white. The gray comes in when people try to define it, or make sense of it, or explain it, and I get that. But I think that impulse to label comes from our discomfort with what we don't know. We crave simplicity even in the most complex things. But love isn't binary. It's not either or, it's not black or white. It's big enough to hold contradictions, big enough to invite curiosity, big enough to hold change. I don't fit neatly into a category. I believe love is love. And I believe we're called to love one another, not in spite of the gray, but because that's where grace lives. As we said when we lit the chalice this morning, we seek the truth in love. This week, we share our plate with the Germantown Avenue Crisis Ministry, operated out of the First Presbyterian Church of Germantown. GACM is committed to helping our neighbors stay in their homes, navigate public benefits, put food on their table, and feel supported as they face down day-to-day insecurity. Please give generously, as we have found that the more we give away, the more that comes our way. Directions for giving via text can be found in your order of service. Cash and checks can be dropped in the plates as ushers pass by.
I invite you to settle into your seat. Place your feet firmly on the floor. Let us breathe together, filling your lungs with air. Deep inhale, exhale fully. Deep inhale, exhale fully. Feel yourself become present, come into your body. Feel the blood rushing in your veins, your heart beating. Feel your jaw loosen and your shoulders come down. Breathe in fully. Exhale completely. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of hope, Spirit of justice. God known by many different names, you have given us a day unique from any other. You have connected us, all of us, with each other and with the world, in ways that are largely a mystery. You have given us little instruction other than to be present in our own lives, to feel wonder at the creations of the universe, and to love one another. You have put gifts and challenges in our path, joys and sorrows, strengths and frailties, some of which we have already encountered, and others we have yet to discover. On this unique day, may we receive exactly what it is we need. May it be so, and amen. I invite you to remain seated for our next hymn in the softback hymnal, number 1069, Ancient Mother.
And I'm going to invite you not even to open that hymnal.
Oh, sorry.
Just like when we pray, I'm going to invite you to get a little more comfy. I had the pleasure of sitting in our pews for the first time a few weeks ago, and they're not that comfy, so get a little comfy. And I'm going to ask you to hum one of two notes. This note or this note. Go. Beautiful. Choir two. Take a breath when you need to. You will need to. Just come back in. I'm going to invite you to think about that breath this way. You inhale, and then the air has to come back out, right? So it just spills back out on sound. Keep going. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Beautiful. Freeze. You sound so good. This side, I'm going to invite you to hum. This side, sing Ancient Mother with me. Ready? Go for it. Yeah. Here we go. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Let's switch so this side hum. Here we go, this side. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Everybody on the words. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Just the last line. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Let's hold a minute of silence together.
I used to believe in the days I was naive that I'd live to see a day of justice dawn. And though we may die long before that morning comes, we'll die while believing still it will come when we are gone.
Have learned
Choir, I hope that felt good. Can you believe what they've become? It's really different. It's really, really different. It's amazing. What a gift you're giving us during worship. I can lose my hands and still live. I can lose my legs and still live. I can lose my eyes and still live. I can lose my hair, my eyebrows, my nose, my arms, and many other things and still live. But if I lose the air, I die. If I lose the sun, I die. If I lose the earth, I die. If I lose the water, I die. If I lose the plants and the animals, I die. All of these things are more a part of me, more essential to every breath than my so-called body. What is my real body? We are not autonomous, self-sufficient beings, as European mythology teaches us. Nothing we do we do by ourselves. We do not see by ourselves. We do not hear by ourselves. We do not breathe, eat, drink, think, dream, invent, or procreate by ourselves. We do not die by ourselves. That which the tree exhales, I inhale. That which I exhale, the trees inhale. These words are from Jack Forbes, a member of the Lenape tribes of the Delaware and the Powhatan. He was a part of the Native American rights movement of the 60s, and he helped found the first tribal college in America. We are not autonomous, self-sufficient beings, as European mythology teaches. Nothing we do by ourselves. Unitarian Universalism teaches us this value too. We call it interdependence. In 2024, we as a denomination voted to shift our language from 8 principles to 6 shared values anchored by love. One of those values is interdependence. You might be familiar with the refrain, we honor the interdependent web of all existence and acknowledge our place in it. Interdependence stands in stark contrast to independence, the myth of self-sufficiency. The Enlightenment, with its rise of philosophies that emphasize the mind as the ultimate arbiter of truth, believed that to think for oneself meant one could do it all by oneself. I think, therefore I am. The mind as the ultimate engine of your life force. René Descartes, who died in 1650, he's excited about a little French philosophy here, is credited with what we call the Cartesian split. How many of you know about the Cartesian split? Enshrining the belief that the mind and the body are separate. Descartes, Cartesian split. He believed that they were completely independent of one another rather than a system, a finely tuned miracle of an ecosystem in which what we think affects our body and what the body holds affects the mind. He believed that things could be split into all independent parts, and with this logic, you could start to see the world in either or, mind or body, good or bad, rational or irrational, assigning categories wholly and without subtlety. Christian, good. Brown skin, bad. Pants and shirt, good. Deerskin shoes, bad. Book learning, good. Oral traditions, bad. With Unitarian Universalism claiming interdependence as a shared core value, we must work each day to see the ways in which binary thinking continues to shape our choices, our thoughts, our narratives, and our lives. Some of you have intimated to me a kind of leftist culture being privileged here since I arrived, a kind of political progressivism that continues to divide us. Continues this tradition of them over there being bad, us in here good. And I admit to falling prey to this kind of thinking over and over and over again. And I am also very aware of my own confusion and my fear when I realize that the other side is just as convicted as I am. They are just as dug in and rooted in their truth as I am in mine. How do I make sense of that? How do I move through that? Where do we go when we are just both so convinced of our own goodness and our own rightness? I felt myself become unstuck when I read this anecdote from Dr. Candace Linklater, proud member of the Moose Cree First Nation, who is known by her writings and her podcast as the Relentless Indigenous Woman. She says, "Sometimes I go on a little field trip to the right-wing side of social media, a type of field research, if you will. Here's what I notice. They speak the same way about the left as the left does the right. Both side postures as liberators, but both remain bound to the same colonial script. Divide the world into binaries, declare who owns truth, and treat the other as incorrigible." That's why, she continues, if you listen closely, the left and the right sound like mirrors of each other. Both cast the other as emotionally broken, intellectually dishonest, beyond hope. Political psychology calls this mirror image perception. The mirror is intentional, shaped by colonial logic. The right and left may disagree about content, but the structure is identical. One side possesses truth, the other denies it. One is enlightened, the other ignorant. She goes on to say, this is the colonial binary at work, the same binary that once justified empire. Civilized and savage, rational and irrational, good and evil, now replays itself in partisan politics, both sides still standing on colonial ground. When we accept the mirror, we inherit the colonial script. We start to believe that the struggle is about who is right instead of how colonial violence continues unchallenged. The right is not interested in equal ground, it seeks domination. The left, meanwhile, often mistakes inclusion within colonial systems as liberation. Both positions leave the system intact. Both drain our energy into a hall of mirrors. I called this service the colonial script because I think it's interesting on this Sunday before Indigenous Peoples Day to consider the ways we are each still playing into the colonial script. Each still playing into binary ways of thinking, resisting the interdependence of our lives, still resisting. Asking the Sullivan Fund for cash assistance, still spinning out over the total ignorant, mind-boggling absurdity of logic we see in the Republican Party. I watch many of you do this over and over, this sort of foaming at the mouth. Still believing that those who work hardest get what they are due. Still believing that borders and walls and armies are the best way to organize a world and keep people safe. Tomorrow is a day we have reclaimed that Native people in this country fought to get back from Christopher Columbus, whose wanderings brought him to the shores of Hispaniola, and with it a kind of thinking, binary thinking, that decimated universes that were already in existence in this hemisphere. The kind of thinking that looked at the ultimate before the intimate, loyal to God, then queen, then self, that being right is better than being in relation. A wholesale ignorance of the fact that two things can be true at once. In fact, 3 things, 10 things, 100 things can be true at once. Dr. Linklater says that one of the ways to refuse the colonial script is to refuse the binary. Stop performing inside colonial categories of light and dark, civilized, savage, rational, irrational. Our truths are not possessions to wield against each other. They are relations we live into. So here, we think about our community as multi-generational, not just young people, old people. We think about all the different stops along the path towards becoming, whatever that is. And we hold that children can have rational, deep thoughts. They can have irrational, deep thoughts. That the old don't have a monopoly on wisdom. Here, in that way, we reject the colonial script. Here in our community, we think about the afterlife as unanswerable. None of us, having survived it or come back, we know that there can be many possibilities, none of which we can be certain about. All those potential truths, true at once. Here, in this way, we reject the colonial script. Here in this community, we embrace gender-expansive expression. We don't believe that there are only men and only women and nothing else. We don't think you have to conform to performing man or performing woman in rigid ways. I'm wearing pants. You can start there. In order to be given dignity or respect, we honor all the ways you can be human, and in this way, we reject the colonial script. Dr. Linklater goes on to suggest that we can also reclaim relational ground to fight the colonized way of thinking when we center worldviews where knowledge is carried through story, relational kinship, and accountability, not through conquest of an opponent. We are not trying to be right over one another here. We are trying to be in relation. We are not trying to grow faster or taller in our spiritual maturity. We are trying to become at our own pace, accepting that as the individual flourishes, so does the whole. Just like the three sisters, there is symbiosis here, centering the idea that we each have something powerful and meaningful and unique to us, to our way of inhabiting this world, that we can contribute. And when unlocked, it nourishes everyone. It can sustain whole communities, grown year in and year out. We don't need to crowd out the sun for others or strangle the stock to get our own needs met. We aren't trying to be right over one another. We are trying to be in relation, side by side, companion planted. Reciprocity that acknowledges accountability and interdependence. What you do and say can affect me. What you do and say can help me flourish so that I, in turn, can help you flourish. That which the tree exhales, I inhale. That which I exhale, the tree inhales. The body and the mind, one miraculous ecosystem, part of a larger fabric, too fine and too incredible, too interwoven to be split apart into pieces or closed systems. We are not trying to be right. We are trying to be in relation, to understand the responsibility and the gift of symbiosis. Whether we are the bean or the squash or the corn, all of us have a part to play in rejecting a colonial logic that has some people as good and others as bad, that knows that together we are greater than the sum of our parts. Together we can nourish each other. Together we can protect one another from colonial violence and indignity and flattened understandings of the world and its myriad truths. Together, we can rewrite the script. On the eve of Indigenous Peoples Day, we lift all the wisdom and the resilience we can still access from the Native people here in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, across America, and across the world. Still living and thriving and telling their stories, often by oral tradition, offering their insights beyond categorical thinking, beyond the binary. May we listen and learn, not to be right, but to be in relation. May it be so, and amen.
Please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 67. We sing now together, and we're just going to sing verses 1 or 2 so we can get to the really exciting part of our day, the fire drill.
A funny note to end on, maybe.
I'm going to ask Lynn and Bob to come up and extinguish the chalice as we read the words together that are in your order of service. We extinguish our chalice, but the flame remains in us as we live into the mission of this congregation, building beloved community with compassion, service, and empowerment.